At Michelin restaurants, you will be surprised to know. Obviously just a normal shrimp. But when you watch them prepare, it will no longer be a normal shrimp. In fact, it is called naked grape shrimp. Its taste is no worse than lobster. Check out these for little pieces. Just eat one the rest of the month. I'm afraid I have to live with instant noodles every day. The reason the price is so high, in addition to fresh ingredients, only live shrimp can be placed on the iron plate. And the chef's excellent skills established the name Grape Shrimp Shop. Want the fresh and tender flavor of large
Waiting
shrimp
for shrimp
not
to
to
react
react
yet.
Its cover must be removed immediately. Then process it piece by piece. Because different parts have temperature requirements. Just the right temperature is the soul that creates this delicious dish. And shrimp meat is the main part of grape shrimp. Its handling is also particularly important. Shrimp shell glass pellets still require a knife change. Kinthy Louis B&A team such big shrimp. Every day the store sells thousands of fish. Remove but there are still many customers lining up who still can't until the aroma of butter penetrates into the shrimp meat. You can sprinkle an appropriate amount of fine salt when the temperature of the stove increases. The color is charred on the outside and the fresh shrimp is just. You can add a few drops of lemon juice while removing the fishy smell. There is also a layer of bottom smell. This delicious dish can already be eaten. You can imagine. What's really common is shrimp legs. We thought we'd thrown shrimp away. Heads and shrimp shells. These leftover ingredients are the main theme of this restaurant. Then pour a little oil onto the iron plate. Place shrimp on top. Cover and fry. Sublimation of flavor until a fragrance comes. You can open the pot lid and continue frying until shrimp heads and shrimp feet. Although these parts do not have the soft meat of the shrimp body. But the most expensive is the soft, just grill over high heat. Together with butter, it can make people suck their fingers. To enrich the flavor, they will use wine for seasoning and pour in lemon juice. Instantly pushes this delicacy to its peak. The finished grape shrimp legs are crispy and charred. Shrimp meat is firm, soft, and juicy. To increase customers' feeling of fullness, the store also specially prepares fried rice with garlic slices and diced meat. Stir fry well and you can quickly beat an egg. Don't think the ingredients aren't many, but you definitely have to do it carefully. That's the key to making delicious food. Until the stir fry is fragrant, you can sprinkle a little fine salt for seasoning. Pour in a little soy sauce to mix the color. Then put some shredded onion. When the iron plate temperature increases, in the blink of an eye, a fragrant onion put the rice on a plate. My nostrils. The yellow color of chicken eggs feels extremely fragrant. One piece of rice, one big piece of shrimp. Who can resist? This beef noodle only needs to be eaten even once. If you want to forget, in a stuffy kitchen of about 10 square meters. The boss's weight is about 200 Move flexibly between large pots. Even though the sweat was like rain that wouldn't stop, the boss still didn't complain of being tired. And don't be lazy to rest. This is because there are for beautiful daughters in the house. When getting married, you want to give an additional dowry. I hope my daughter has a higher status in her husband's Every day family. At 8 a.m., the boss starts to get busy. All ingredients used are fresh. Not to mention soup. It's all about using large fruit best. Fresh vegetables and fruits and various ingredients. It takes 5 hours to cook. Want delicious soup? There weren't any spices and they checked the cow was still very much while increasing the thickness of this beef soup. It also makes the beef more tender and chewy. This is also something that many diners would rather go hungry to his house to eat a delicious meal. Besides, the store's beef cake, one of the shop's specialties. Because the daily dosage is too large. The owner also keeps up with the times, using pancakes made like this are now crispy without being greasy. Then the boss will squeeze them together with both hands. Squeeze into round balls of equal size. Operations seem to run smoothly. Without 5 years of craftsmanship, then roll the dough with cooking oil into a thin skin. Add another layer of cake. Continuously stack several layers on top of each other to slowly roll the long bread into a spiral shape. And the twisted dough uses the palm of your hand. Again, use a rolling pin to grind into powder. Put in an iron pot without oil to dry the cake. Very quickly, the oil cake is baked on a 300-degree iron plate. Then use your hands to remove the cake crumbs. 45-degree tilt angle to pat the cake. On the one hand, it can increase the level of pastry. It can also increase the brittleness of the dough cake is covered with a sauce made by the owner. Combined with marinated beef, the fragrance comes immediately. How can chives improve flavor without it? The boss will also cut it into small pieces. Very fragrant pieces. Beef noodles is here. Different from beef noodles from other restaurants. Each bowl of noodles will contain a full weight piece of beef. The amount of food is small. I'm afraid the meat will be full before I finish eating. The beef is tender and melts in your mouth. At the same time, there will be additional spicy broth. The boss will also give away homemade cold dishes. Pork liver after being mixed with green onions and red pepper. Order cold dishes made from different spices. Everyone can take it comfortably. Peanut carrots, peas, a cold dish made from soft corn blanched in hot water. Also a small dish given by the boss. Roll cake filled with beef. Tommy's signature beef noodles. The meat is cooked but not mushy. Together with the thick soup, it really gives people an endless aftertaste. Just heat the iron plate at high temperature But it has become a delicious dish that 99% of people only a handful of people pursued him. Don't look at such small weight. If you want to eat once, it only costs $1 United States so that customers have a good dining experience. The boss will choose the best beef. Also make sure it is as thin as a cicada wing. This is so delicious. Then sprinkle with pepper powder and salt to taste. Until it becomes smooth meat, you can cooperate with both hands. Squeeze into a round meatball. Then pour some olive oil onto the 500-degree iron plate. Quickly place beef balls on top. Then align the shape with a kitchen knife. Turn over. A beautiful round ball appeared before my eyes. Then pour the egg liquid on top. Immediately the fragrant egg smell reached the nostrils. Add another thick layer of cheese. Appetite is filled instantly. Place more bean sprouts on another iron plate. The beef balls are decorated with some green onions. Add a little more sauce. This beef hamburger ball is done. Besides, garlic hamburger balls are also very popular. The same is true for egg liquid. Just put some garlic on the beef ball. Finish with secret sauce. It's also delicious. The whole process only takes 3 minutes. Customers order food that can be quickly brought to the dining table. The store also offers free side dishes. You can pick it up as you like. When eating, just put the beef on the stone slab and fry. A thoughtful boss will replace it for you. Stuffed beef meets hot stone. In the blink of an eye, it took on a burnt brown color and exudes a seductive scent. After baking, wrap the cheese and put it in your mouth. Brush cheese mixed with meat aroma. The more you eat, the more you want to eat. Even though this portion was over $1, but every day there are many diners coming to eat. Eat many types of rice, but grilled lamb rice. Probably haven't seen it yet. If you've already eaten, it's as if I didn't say anything. It's an important local feature. It's very difficult to eat outside. Many tourists came here just to taste. What charm does he have to attract customers? Next, let everyone take a look. 60 pounds of whole sheep divided in half. Cherry plum sauce prepared evenly. Apply to the meat inside. Start preparing the sauce. Turmeric powder, chili powder, black pepper. Put red chili powder and fine salt in a bowl. Pour in olive oil. Use a spoon to stir well. Afterward, apply sauce to each piece of lamb. Marinate the sauce for half an hour. Rinse with mountain spring water. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to eat. Add an appropriate amount of fine salt to hot boiling water. Now pour the washed rice into the pot. Boil for 10 minutes. Take it out and place it in a whole pot to control dry moisture. Then start preparing the ingredients. Chestnut smash. Cut fried onions into small pieces. Add more butter. Diced onion to add turmeric powder. Stir in roasted chestnuts. With raisins, Gary's prunes and cherries stir fry together. Must burn out of the pot. The final important step has been completed. Then pour the cooked rice into the pot. Place fresh roast bones inside. Green vegetables are boring. Stirred. Make sure each grain of rice turns golden yellow. You can add prepared rice to the lamb. Then wrap the lamb filled with rice in sheet parchment paper. Place tin foil in the outer layer. Push into the oven. Take this opportunity to make a pot of rose tea. Give the goat a piece of sausage. Otherwise, how can one say that someone's goat is delicious? It turns out that baking is the crystallization of wisdom. The lamb hot pot rice is finally out of the pot. Rich flavor. The thin fat covering the lamb is processed several times. Eat a mouthful of endless aftertaste. Burnt rice and pineapple mixed with meat. Can't stop. Even the picky diners. Have you ever eaten lamb hot pot rice like that? If you think this is a fishing line, so congratulations, you answered wrong. Actually, this is making crab sticks. These delicate and soft fishermen have been processed. We've fish meat to imitate the taste of crab meat. Although crab sticks can be seen everywhere, but what you eat can be a substitute. After watching the crab stick production, you can drop it immediately. This piece looks like a block of ice. In fact, it's the raw material to make crab sticks. Fish mud and shrimp Regardless, the taste and nutrition are very similar, but its cost is very low. Perfect for mass production. But all the fish mud is mixed into powder. You can pour it into the seasoning machine device. Add a certain proportion of starch. 5-spice powder also wants Gary as an ingredient. Natural vegetable oils are also at the same time to enhance the flavor of crab sticks. There's also no shortage of secret sauce. During mixing, a large amount of ice cubes will be added to replace moisture. Crab sticks made this way are not only fresh and soft. Mix the flavor tight and seasoned. Mix continuously for 2 hours. Bright white materials appeared before my eyes. Then ruin these. The delicate fish mud is poured into the barrel. By continuously stirring, you can clean the bubbles in fish mud. Then through the pipe to the forming machine. The machine will make fish slurry. Squeeze into thin pieces of uniform size. Then it is cut into thin strips by a mechanical knife. It will then be rolled into a strip like hemp rope. At this time, the crab stick has a prototype. No different from real crab legs. You need to wrap the crab stick in another layer. The red membrane is edible. The machinery behind will automatically package it. The size of the crab's legs will then be cut into evenly thin strips. Next is the packaging stage. 30 pieces are put in a bag. Then passed. Go through a vacuum packaging machine to suck out the air in the bag. At this time, the crab sticks go to the sterilization room. High temperature treatment. The shelf life of crab sticks increases by 1 month. Don't think that's it. Crab sticks need to be quickly frozen. This crab stick does not have any crab meat. Finally done. Put it in a box and you can send it to major supermarkets. Fresh imitation crab stick with a bit of silk. The taste is exactly the same as real crab sticks. If you don't see the production process, you don't know it doesn't have crab meat in it. There is such a type of dumpling. Making small street shops earn millions of dollars every year. The small shop is only a few square meters. Thousands of dumplings are sold. Even the staff are hired for 5 dong. Even so, peak meal hours still can't be busy. Leek dumplings made by the owner. The reason why it is so popular, it's not just the price. More so because of the real material. There is no technology. Early in the morning, the owner opens his business. Stocking up. Otherwise, it's not enough. The boss is also a real person. A large pot, the egg liquid poured into the iron pot like a waterfall. To improve work efficiency, the boss will use 3 iron pots at the same time. The boss seems to have installed an electric motor. One person works constantly busy between 3 iron pots. Use both hands and use a large and small shovel to stir fry the eggs. The owner said that he has been making eggs since he was 18 years old. It's been 30 years now. This is an egg that has been fried into a solid form. Use a shovel to divide it into small pieces of equal size. Want a pure taste, and eggs don't smell fishy. Temperature control is key. Then add the eggs to cool. Then comes the mixing of the filling. Leeks plus soft eggs plus shrimp skin. You don't need too many ingredients to make a delicious dish. Then production of cake skins begins. Boss to ensure dumpling size. They all use machines. Unlike other merchants, the smaller the dumplings, the boss does the smaller they are, the bigger the cake. Not only worrying about losses, but also making the dumplings made by the boss are never revealed. His secret is, use the bowl along the edge of the dumpling each time. Press half circle. Next is the highlight. Put the dumplings in an iron pot to fry. This process, just add a small amount of oil to the bottom pot. This is also the majority of the reasons I like going to his house. At this time, the boss must always be by your side. Flip the dumplings every 20 seconds. While preventing fire, it can also make both sides evenly heated. Until both sides are golden yellow, the skin is crispy like a tiger. Suddenly the cake opened. Bite a piece of the filling inside. Fresh scent of leeks. The softness of a chicken egg moving back and forth in the mouth. Dear, do you want to eat such big dumplings?